What's up guys, Spartan Cowboy here, and in this video I want to go over the project, formerly known as the mistake, formerly known as the mimic, the latter of which I will be calling him for the rest of the video. I already made a video talking about and playing the mimic, but I didn't really use him to his full potential in that video, and I also left out a little bit of crucial information. Subscribe, by the way. What I want to talk about today is the debate / argument people are having over whether or not Mimic is an underpowered pushover or literally the most devastating thing since day one Krasu. There's a thread in the Bite by Night Discord talking about how Mimic is terrible, he can't do anything, every morning he breaks his legs, every afternoon he breaks his arms, so on, yada yada yada, SpongeBob reference. And other people are saying he's busted. He's uncounterable, he killed my entire family and he kicks puppies in his free time. If you want my opinion on the Mimic, I do 100% believe that he is a very strong killer, which there's nothing wrong with having strong killers in the game. The issue I have with Mimic is that he's very uninteractive for the survivor side. Sorry if you see me like gazing over here, I have the script here, so yeah, I'm not really good at following thoughts without looking at it on text form, so sorry if I'm not directly looking at the camera. In order to understand how Mimic is super uninteractive, super boring, and the worst thing to happen to FNAF since Security Breach, we need to I can't talk. We need to understand what his power does and how it works. His power is pretty complex compared to other killers. He's sort of like a spellcaster from Dead by Daylight, sort of like the Lich or Dracula, where he has multiple different abilities he can switch between on the fly. Mimic has 3 modes he can switch between with the Q button. First is Strength Mode, where he deals a staggering 40 damage, but he has no ability and is also slow as shit. Then he has Speed Mode, lovingly referred to by the community as Timmy Tickle Time, and that's because in this mode he deals a measly 6 damage. But he does move super fast. Also, his stamina recovery is god-awful. In Speed Mode, he has access to his Leap ability, where he can jump in the air and deal 25 damage to survivors that he crushes like he's fucking Mario stomping on a Goomba. And then we have Stealth Mode, which might as well be called the super mega fuck you mode with how much bullshit it has in it. In this mode, he is permanently undetectable, meaning he has no footstep sounds, and no music, so you have no idea he's coming. His basic attack does 25 damage, which instantly power creeps the Speed Mode Leap, especially since the Mimic is also 10% faster in Stealth Mode. Stealth Mode gives him access to Grab, where at a close range he can grab a survivor and carry them a short distance, where he can stab them and then throw them, dealing another 25 damage. You can make the Mimic drop a survivor he's carrying by stunning him as a fighter, but expecting fighters to protect their teammates is like asking for world peace. That shit's not happening. And finally, Stealth Mode has a second ability, the Drill, making Stealth Mode the definitive chasing mode. What Drill does is that the Mimic can drill into the ground and travel at a high speed. He goes underground and he can see every survivor on the map, and he can come out of the ground under a survivor and ragdoll them, and deal 32 fucking damage. 32 damage, which he can combo into a Strength Mode hit and hit them for 72 damage, which are basically dead at that point because of DSD. I'm getting ahead of myself. All of this combined makes Mimic very overwhelming to play at first, making noob Mimic players pretty pathetic pushovers. But if you take the time to learn Mimic, he transforms into the most bullshit, boring, uninteractive killer in the game for survivors. This is like the second or third time I've mentioned Mimic being uninteractive, and what I mean is, take Springtrap for example. When you're getting chased by Springtrap, you're keeping an eye out for bear traps, you're listening to see if he's getting ready to throw his axe. When he uses his scream, you need to listen really closely since you're blind and deaf, and then you need to look out for if he's going to charge or if he's going to wait until he gets his axe back. And then you get hit once and you flat out die because DSD is a thing. There's a lot of thinking that both players have to do when you're chasing as Springtrap in order to counter each other effectively. Even outside of chase, Springtrap needs the game sense to know where to put traps, and survivors need to remember where he put those traps so they can either disarm them or avoid them entirely. That's called interaction. This is interactive gameplay. Mimic does not do any of this. He has no skill shots like the axe except for like the Speed Mode Leap, which you barely even get rewarded if you land it, considering it only deals 25 damage, and the survivor is already recovered and ran away before you can switch to take advantage of them being ragdolled. Unlike with drill, where you can switch coming out of the ground, and yeah, they're just fucked. Leap is the only sort of skillful thing the Mimic can do, and the rest of it is just this. You use drill to catch a survivor. You deal 32 damage by using the drill. You switch to strength mode while coming out of the ground to deal another 40 damage. Then you catch up to the survivor in stealth mode again using your 10% increased speed and DSD. Decreased stamina depletion, by the way. And if you can't catch up, no worries, since you can just switch to speed mode, rush them down and hit them once for 6 damage and you have DSD back. Just like that. And then you can once again go back to stealth mode to finish them off. And if you still can't catch them, just wait until dribble goes off cooldown. They're fucked either way. This is the most uninteractive shit ever. On the killer side, it feels great to spam all these abilities to outplay the survivor, but as the survivor in the situation, it feels fucking terrible. Nobody is having fun getting grabbed and thrown into a tiny room with no exit and then hit for 65 damage. Yippee, I'm being stun locked and I can't fucking do anything. I'm having so much fun. All you're doing against Mimic is looping them normally and just praying someone on your team does something maybe to help you. You can try to move erratically, like be all slippery and make Mimic miss swings, make him bait out the dodge, or the drill, sorry, to dodge the drill. I know people are gonna say, if you just work as a team and gang up on him with fighters and security guards, he can't do anything. As if it's some sort of argument against Mimic being weak. The truth is that every killer is going to have a tough time dealing with a bully squad. Which even then, if the killer doesn't just mindlessly swing at every single parry, they'll probably still serve a wipe. People also say just listening to the rumbling sound if Mimic is using his drill, which that's true, that is an indicator that he's close. But at the same time, it's not really helpful when you're doing a loud action like repairing a generator. The rumbling kind of blends in with the mechanical sounds of the generator and you just die anyway. Again, you can listen to where the rumbling is coming from and try to bait out the drill by doubling back. Which even then, sometimes the game will just say fuck you and hit you with the drill even though you weren't in the AoE. And to be fair, sometimes it does go the other way where the game will say fuck you to the killer and not give them the hit even though the survivor is clearly in the circle. The truth is that the Mimic doesn't really have that much counterplay. The counterplay he does have is either dependent on the killer being bad or just luck with hitboxes and ping. So, how would I fix the Mimic? If I was made head of the balancing team out of nowhere, what would I do to make the Mimic at least a little bit more enjoyable for the survivors? First of all, I'd shift the drill into a different direction. What I mean by that is that I would make the drill move faster and let Mimic stay in the ground for a little longer. And to compensate, I'd make the attack coming out of the ground more telegraphed. I.e., there's more time between pressing R and actually coming out of the ground. Like maybe like a 2-3 second delay, I don't know. Meaning the survivors will have more time to see where the area of effect is and run away from it. This will make it similar to Vecna's Undergate attack from Dead by Daylight, where it's an ability more so used for traversal if anything, but it's still super punishing to get hit by. Next, I change his grab. This is a little bit more of a general change, but I'd make it so when survivors are ragdolled, they get their on-here burst, you know, the burst of speed they get when they're hit, they get that after they've already recovered from being ragdolled, instead of when they originally took damage. Because it's really annoying when you get grabbed and stabbed by the Mimic and you see the little speed boost status effect in the corner, but you can't take advantage of it because you're in the ground and the Mimic can't, like, you can't do anything. I'd also make the grab cooldown a little bit longer at 6 AM because it's kind of dumb that you can just keep grabbing survivors and throwing them into the fire with basically nothing they can do about it sometimes. I'd also make the leap worth using. I can't fucking speak. I'd simply make it do 32 damage in ragdoll for the same amount of time that the drill does. Leap is probably the most difficult part of Mimic's kit to utilize. It really sucks that he's not rewarded for it unlike his other less interactive abilities. The fact it only does 25 damage is kind of just shit, and the ragdoll effect that the leap does is really minuscule. Like by the time you're done going like in the recovery animation, the survivor's already gotten up and fucking ran away. And you won't have time to switch modes to try to combo into it like you would with the drill because they're already fucking gone. And finally, this is a bit optional, but I thought it would cool to Finally, this is like a little bit weird, but they don't need to, but I'd love it if they give strength mode some type of ability at least. It'd be cool if he could kind of like swing his arms around like a helicopter or whatever, kind of like Rob's side special in Smash Bros. Maybe he could have a charge like Spring Trap. I don't know, you can nerf strength mode damage from 40 to like 30 or something to compensate. Oh no, I just want something to do with strength mode besides it just being the mode you use to take advantage of ragdolled survivors who can't run away or do anything. That's really about it. The changes I proposed aren't perfect, but I still don't think the Mimic can stay in the game in his current state. He's just not fun to go against. Nobody likes being stunlocked and being physically unable to do anything about it. As it stands right now, 90% of Mimic chasers are just you staring at your lifeless avatar as a reminder of how fucked you are. Anyway, if you agree or disagree with me, leave a comment. Like and subscribe if you found this video helpful or entertaining. And that's really about it. I thought this video would be longer, but I just wanted to talk about shit. That's it. See ya.